You're listening to Cult Life with your host, Robin Jackson.
I don't know how to describe the anguish. Like, the devastation was complete on every level. But as far as just finding meaning, it's interesting because when I was a Jehovah's Witness, we had the answers to all life's disturbing questions, including like what happens when someone dies, why would an innocent child die, why would God allow that to happen? But the reality is that if you have answers to all of life's questions, yes, it feels very meaningful. But if those answers aren't true, then that's also meaningless. There's a way through these kinds of things without religion.
Yeah.
And I think mostly it has to do with other people and with love. That's what's brought meaning to life again for me.
Hey, and welcome to another season of Cult Life with me, Robin Jackson. That was a clip from an NPR interview of Amber Scorah. She's the author of a new book called Leaving the Witness. Now, Amber Scorah believed that she had the answers to life's biggest questions. And that answer, of course, was Armageddon and the destruction of evil and all evil mankind at the War of Armageddon, as foretold and believed by the Jehovah's Witnesses. And she goes on to say, if the world is ending, why would you go to college? In the interview, why would you get a career? So she didn't. Instead, like many members of the Church of Jehovah's Witnesses, she dedicated her life to spreading the good news according to the Jehovah's Witness beliefs. She was married at the age of 22, and she and her husband moved to China to work as missionaries. And, of course, in China, everything had to be secret, because preaching the gospel, or preaching the good news of the kingdom according to the Jehovah's Witnesses, is illegal in China. So, and for most of the time she had to do this in secret. And she says it was exhilarating work because, for her, saving souls, so to speak, was exhilarating. She says, there's nothing like taking someone, especially someone that has a totally different frame of reference, totally different belief system, and seeing them change their mind. It's almost so affirming. Like, I definitely have the truth. And I can relate to that. It is so indoctrinated into you that you are right, that you everyone else is wrong. You are part of the chosen ones on this earth, and you are the only ones that have the ultimate truth and the only way to salvation. And it can be very affirming. But she goes on to say, a series of events left her, unsure of the truth. And of course, they led to a loss of faith and her own personal crisis of conscience and apocalypse. So, this book, Leaving the Witness, Exiting a Religion and Finding a Life, recounts her journey to freedom of repression. And of course, while she was in Shanghai, she began working at a startup called Chinesepod, which offers online Mandarin language course. And there she eventually developed and hosted a podcast, which was called Dear Amber, the Insider's Guide to Everything China. And, amongst her tasks in running and overseeing the podcast was, of course, setting up and overseeing this active online forum. And this is where she started communicating and corresponding with someone called Jonathan. And it was through this correspondence with Jonathan that her gradual awakening took place. And it was Jonathan who, helped her directly confront her beliefs. The deep conversations she had with him, and of course finally meeting him and speaking about it. And this was what helped her to eventually awaken and leave the witnesses. And of course, like many cults, you are declared an apostate once you leave that faith, or you get shunned by family, friends, and the community as a whole. But she says something very profound in this next clip.
So you needed him to extricate yourself from your faith.
Yes.
But then in that you lost him, and at the end of it, you're all alone. You did lose all your family. You did lose all your friends, your community through this.
I don't think I consciously chose that, but it's just there was no other way for it to end than to have a new beginning. And also I was just reading something where someone was talking about you can never have change without loss. People always say they want their life to change, but then they don't change their life because they're afraid of loss. You can't have one without the other.
You can't have one without the other. And it is so true not only in our normal lives, but so much so when leaving a cult. There is going to be some sort of loss. You cannot make that transition, you cannot make that change without the loss of some sort, be it family, friends, the loss of your community, and so forth. And we see it on a regular basis with so many of us who've come out of such experiences, and the loss that many of us have to suffer. Now, Scorah has also appeared on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, our proudly South African export, which of course will help the book to appeal to a much broader audience as well. I think being on a show like that with millions of viewers will actually help in exposing the religion as a whole, and get more people outside of just the ex-JW community to actually go out and buy the book and read and find out more about this religion, the Jehovah's Witnesses. So that is our first show for the second season of Cult Life. New format, new show, new intro, the start of the new season. And I've been working on another podcast called Skills Talk. So if you're interested in all things skills development, human resources, business strategy, and artificial intelligence, please tune in. It's called Skills Talk. It's on all the major podcast platforms as well. I would love to chat to you there and engage. If you're interested in that type of thing. I will be joined by John Spinks in 2 weeks' time. John is the director of Cult Escape, a cult awareness organization in the UK. So John and I will be chatting about his experiences and his upcoming book. So look out for that. So thank you for joining me this week, and stay tuned. And I look forward to speaking to you again next week. Bye for now.